8th, 2019 that they.
Again, he wasn't even in town. He was still living in LA. He didn't even sign their lease until December of 2019. They were still living in California. He'd only came back here sometimes, but then he came back here more because his son got injured. And so he knows for a certainty he met her after the son was shot. And even the son told me that he didn't even meet that girl until after he was shot, because that's when he spoke about the girl and the situation to him was in late summer of 19. So January of 19, he didn't even know her at all.
So he didn't know her because I myself, when I was looking, and I did see, because I mentioned to a couple of people that when I was doing this, that it showed that he was in Vegas that same day in that year. So I was trying to figure out, and somebody said, "Oh, you could post something later," but it looked like it was live when I saw.
It was a live feed. But yeah, he was in California, Vegas, because they got the anniversary is the same day as his birthday, which was the day after, which was the 9th.
Grown Woman Vibe says, how is it that she knows more about Ernest than Shirley?
Next question.
Oh, okay. No dog in this fight, but Sonya has stated that she's referring to the legal document. Okay. All right. Okay. So the dad.
Right. So the father gave him the money to help her with the career situation. He said he didn't trust the daughter to do what she was supposed to do with it. And he was trying to get her on the right path or whatever. And he was trying to get her legal and out of trouble. And so he and Nesta would meet along with the daughter to try to build her a career. And so when they say what they said in court, to say that he was a dangerous man and that, she went back around him because he threatened to kill her whole family, which was shocking, because we just the whole family was just trying to figure out, why do they keep saying that? Why did the prosecutor keep saying that, people are scared of him? And we're trying to figure out, he's not even that type of person, at all. And then when in court they said that, and we were like, so now, a year later, when we went to court, only thing that they had was a statement.
So, and hold on, I want to show everybody her father. Hold on. Y'all looked up the dad. That's the dad right here, y'all.
Yeah, he did 10 years, or he was sentenced to 10 years for armed robbery. And then he was just in Cobb County and 21 for possession of cocaine. So, yeah.
So the dad was over there in Cobb County along with Ernest?
No, he was 21. Ernest didn't go over there till 22, 23 is when he went to Cobb County.
Is that where they met?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't know specifically how they met. I don't know how they met. He used to just talk about that because he knew, I had a niece that was in the business and he was trying to help her. And I said for him to get her, tapes together, and I would submit it to a friend of mine who has a record company.
Okay. So, okay.
But he never did. So, I didn't ask. I didn't, it was like 2 conversations about her. So I could say, the attempt was made. It just didn't follow through for whatever reason. I never, asked what's going on with it. I was busy with my restaurant at that time. So.
Okay. How does she know what kind of person he is if she only met him for 5 times? Okay. They're asking about Ernesto. Okay.
What kind of person he is?
Yeah.
He's a very nice person. Well, I'll have what's the name speak on his character because he's known him for 32 years. So,
Yeah, you're having an interview with him.
Jury has agreed to do an interview with you, because he's watched several of the bloggers, and he said out of everybody, you were the most godliest and respectful. You didn't come off messy. So he said he will talk to you.
Okay, tell him I'll be ready to set it up. I agree, Sylvia. Do not allow Sonya to be biased in answering question based on upon whom asked the question. Okay. Okay, guys, remember I said I was going to focus on the case.
They keep asking the other questions. They keep asking them other questions. They can't help but to. And that's so weird because that's irrelevant at this point.
Do you want to answer those questions? Because I said I was going to
ask them, and I'll let you know if I'm answering them. But yeah, go ahead. You can ask whatever you want to ask.
Okay, y'all ready?
Because that's what they want to do anyways. Go there straight to the.
All right, we'll ask this question.
They don't care about the legal part of it. They want to hear about the other stuff.
Before I even start asking those other questions, Ernest is get ready to have his bond hearing. Are you going to be there?
Oh no, it's Leah. It's yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's in the evening, so you won't even be there because the judge is going to be at home doing this. So y'all had this earning desire to ask this woman these questions. I wanted to stay away from it, but y'all
stop listening to them phone calls. How about that? They need better television out here. That's what it is. I blame it on TV. Pardon me?
First question they want to know is, okay, here we go. Why didn't he give the money to the teacher? Why didn't he give the money back to the teacher?
I don't know that answer. Because I've only heard of this since he was locked up, so he can't talk about anything. Just certain things he could speak on, but he definitely did not speak on the narrative of the relationship. If he did anything for her, he didn't deny sleeping with her. You know, I didn't ask the question. I just read the warrant to him. But again, like when did I say that was? July 20th. If you listen to the July 20th phone call, that's when I'm reading the warrants to him. And so that's when you'll hear whatever he says about them, which is much of nothing. Because I always tell him, don't respond. Just listen. So, because he's not allowed to talk about his defense.
Okay. So,
certainly so.
So the warrants are not correct when it comes to Nesto alleged crimes, but they're correct enough to speak on because Sonya only knows about this from the warrants. Okay. That's just a statement. Are you working for the prosecution, Sonya?
What? Why would I be working for the prosecution? That's to put them in jail, not to keep them out. Does she mean defense attorneys?
Okay. Lovelace asks, what happened to her phone calls recording? Why is she no longer posting calls?
Who's not posting? Oh, me?
Yeah.
I got a couple of them, but I kind of didn't post any recently. I got one from yesterday, day before yesterday. Because I was really trying to get away from that. And they're not juicy. I mean,
they're boring.
Yeah, they feel right. The one girl even said that the couple that I posted, she was like, "Oh, it's so boring." I said, "Yeah, that's where we're at right now. Everything's boring." First of all, it's such an old situation at this point. We sometimes talk long in depth about things, but for the most part, no. How's your day? World news.
Okay. You need says, what do you have against Sheridan?
I don't know Sheridan have anything against her. And the only thing I do is repeat what was said. I don't know her to say anything about her other than just repeating what was already said about her in a situation.
Okay, it says, so because he wasn't living somewhere doesn't mean he doesn't know them. I don't live in Georgia, but I go there, talk to people, and come back home. Okay, she made a statement. Okay.
So what does she mean by that, to know who? What is she talking about, to know who?
I'm not sure. These things are in behind, so I really don't know what.
Is she talking about Erica. That'll be the only person that he knows, but he don't know. He knows her, but it's not a ongoing every day, every week type of knowledge thing, because he was unaware of all the names she's had. He only knew her as King, but he didn't know about the other
She knew, but
names.
what about when she went to the court and said her name was April Holloway?
I
And
can't talk about it, but he said that because I was saying some things and he was like, yeah, along that line.
okay,
That
so okay.
she sold it to him. And so I guess he was under the pretense that she was. This is the thing. The only time he's ever been in court, other than some civil stuff, and he's not the most educated person when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
His charges from his court was from 1990. He got out. They hit him with a conviction from another incident that happened in the 90s, but they just gave it to him when he got released. He didn't get out and re-offend.
Mm-hmm.
And so all his cases that he had ended up being dismissed or turned or were civil. That's why he only have those 2 convictions. And those are from incidents that happened in the 90s when he was in his 20s. And it's common for people to operate wrong and not know how wrong, they're operating, especially when you have a record. It makes certain situations turn another way because you have a record. It can turn a civil situation into a criminal situation. But if you look at it with this, it's that. But again, what 2 of the attorneys told me is the intent was criminal. And if certain other things were done, then it would have turned that situation that I said is civil into a crime. But because of how it went, they both said it's civil along with me. Again, I got opinions on it that, of people who were not emotionally involved.
Okay. All right. The next question says, what a nice person. What? He has called Shirley's daughter the B word, then spoke to her in the next breath, asking Shirley how she's doing.
I can't speak on that. I've never been around them to know what. All I know is what several people said in that circle about her, and then listening to what the wife said about her over the phone, and then him listening to the calls. Okay. Other than that, I just knew generally that he wasn't going around the house because they didn't get along. And so he said, that's her daughter. I'm going to step away.
Okay. So please ask her, what's the knowledge of the blood contract?
I don't know nothing about that. That was said in court, again, like some other things that was said in court that was blatant lies. So
speaking of things that was in court, that affidavit, that supposedly that letter from
that she said she didn't sign and she didn't know nothing about it. She said she didn't know anything about it, but the affidavit was just saying that, if he gets released, that he is going home with me and I want him released. It was just trying to support the bond. And he was, if he made bond in that moment, supposed to go home, everything written. Now, I never asked the attorney because me and him fell out back in January. So I don't know why he did what he did, but he told me, she said she didn't know about it and she didn't sign it. And that's just him saying it to me about it.
So then,
because I felt like that was the thing that leaked everything by putting affidavit of Shirley Strawberry when he could have just put affidavit in support, and left it like that. And the body of it would have spoke. He didn't have to file it with her name on it, and then saying that didn't make it known anyway, because the courts, it could have been, affidavit of spouse, and they would have known it's the wife. But by putting her name out there, the judge didn't know at that moment, who she was to him. It just, so he didn't need to do that. And he was supposed to keep everything discreet as possible. But again, like I said, me and him had fell out and I felt he was being messy after that.
But if she's saying she did not sign it.
Right. Then who signed it?
And he
didn't know about it. So it wasn't nothing that he had a part of because he didn't even know anything about the affidavit at all.
Okay, how did the young lady get the teacher's car?
So she gave him the car to sell. And from that, the girl had it. And the girl's aunt, because the girl aunt was arrested in the car because it was reported stolen or unlawful use of vehicle. I don't know which of the two. It's really unlawful use of vehicle because she gave it to him and she wanted it back. He didn't return it. So it's unlawful use of vehicle because it's not considered stolen at that point because you did give them the vehicle, but I want my vehicle back. So it's unlawful use of a vehicle.
But you know, in the paperwork, they call.
I know how they put it, but it's wrong. It's unlawful use.
That's her grandmother, and it's not her grandmother.
It's not the grandmother.
Not the grandmother.
It's the aunt.
Because I saw, I saw.
Listen, a lot of the paperwork is wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Media is her. She's saying my niece, my niece, my niece, my niece.
Yeah, it's the aunt. It's the aunt.
But in the paperwork, it says grandmother.
I got it on my text because I got the text when she got arrested because he asked for some legal help on that, and he sent me the situation. Yeah. But I think it was I think he said aunt as well.
Because right here it says that she was in Dominican Republic. This is
she wasn't. She wasn't. She was there.
It says LT, which is Lilani, was identified as the granddaughter. Through the interview, that whatever her last name is, she was in Dominican Republic, and she was told by William that he had paid the car off for her to get. So this paperwork does not match the relationship with her with the lady.
So no, nothing's really matched up. Like I said, a lot of the stuff is kind of off. But no, she wasn't in the Dominican Republic. He said to me this week that she was right there when all that was going down. She wasn't out of town. She was there.
So this is one error I found myself in this paperwork. Because I went to the social media side, and in fact, the lady and I went to the same church.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what? The aunt?
The aunt and I went to the same church.
Oh,
it's a small world. I'm telling you, small world. So
yeah, somebody knows somebody, and that's that was weird too, because when we were in court, the detective said that these two ladies got together, and that's why she decided to come forth and say all of that stuff that happened. But there was no way for that to happen because they didn't know each other, at all. So there was no way of them running to, for that to happen.
Okay.
And unless it was social media, like how I ended up talking to her, when she was asking me some things, and I was like, no, you don't give married men money.
Wisdom's daughter says, if necessary.
Next.
No, I got.
She called me a stripper. Next. She called me a stripper. Next.
But
she called me a stripper. Next.
But she's not being mean to you.
She was before. Did she apologize for calling me a stripper and I never stripped a day in my life?
But she
did she apologize for calling me a stripper and I never stripped a day in my life?
I'm apologizing for.
You want to be mean and to say certain things for whatever reason you need to say them, then keep that same energy. Because I don't call people things that they're not. I don't even call people things that they are.
She's sorry. She's sorry.
Yeah, not sorry. That girl meant that just like that other girl who called me a stripper and a hoe. Sorry on your show. Try to keep it peaceful. Love.
You gotta... All right. I'm gonna read her question. You don't have to answer it, but I'm gonna read her question because she did give me a donation. Now I gotta read her message. Okay.
Okay, you can read it.
I gotta
go ahead. You can read it.
To my person that's donating. You know what I'm saying?
Say that louder. What?
If Nesso has lied before, how can you believe him now? Sonya found out Nesta was with the teacher when she couldn't reach him from the warrant.
Huh? What? Sonya found out he was with the teacher when? First of all, when he was free, I never checked for his location, ever. We didn't have that type of relationship. It was a friendship, whatever y'all want to call it, all that extra stuff. No, I only saw him a handful of times in person, period, to this day. So if we were all in some type of situation, relationship, it would have been us dating, going out, me being in Atlanta. And I could go to Atlanta as much as possible when I was in Florida. So it was like, so if it was a relationship, it would have been more in person meets, and it was only 5 in a year and a half before he went to jail.
They said you were mad. But okay.
I was mad at what? Listen to the phone calls. I wasn't mad. When I read all of that stuff to him, I was cracking up.
Okay, I got a question for you. Okay. Those phone calls were very in like sometimes
A handful of them. Go ahead. Not all of them. You got over 500 phone calls, and you got maybe a handful of them, let's say maybe 7, that might be deemed, a bit much for friends.
Okay. Here's my question. Those phone calls, when you realized they were being listened to, what did you feel about them? Because it reveals.
I didn't remember.
That it reveals some stuff that changed, because once you found out, you kind of like you change your story, and people saying that you lied.
No. Because see, that's wrong. I didn't come out till end of November, middle of November. Whenever that girl put all my business out, I came out like 5 days later and said something. Them phone calls came out months before I even said anything. Months before I said anything. So to say that's wrong. And a lot of them phone calls, I don't specifically remember, because I didn't even remember that phone call where he was talking about pat yourself and all that other stuff. I didn't even remember. That happened like right when he went to jail. And so I'm sitting here like,
did you feel embarrassed? Did you feel embarrassed that
No, I don't embarrass easy.
No, but I'm saying, you were saying that, oh, we didn't have a relationship, and then all of a sudden the phone call revealed it was something different, and you're like,
that's why I tell them, go with the phone calls, because one, I'm not of this new world where people like to come on and just tell my business and say, okay, so my man and I, and what I'm saying? I didn't bring it up. I didn't come out and with this whole situation, I was drug out. So a lot of things I'm never going to talk about, because I feel like I don't know you. It's not your business. So if I slept with them, go with the phone calls, like I say, what I'm saying? But I can say this, because the phone calls are very telling. If you listen to them without the narration of some bloggers who like to kind of twist things, when we did some things, it was before I found out he was married. It was before I found out he was married. So I'll say that I didn't know he was married, and I got text messages to prove that. I did not know, and I said, let's just be friends.
You don't let me talk. Wait. So are you confessing now that y'all did the do? Are you confessing?
I always say, listen to the phone call. So whatever the phone calls say, just believe what the phone calls say.
Is that a yes? We all understand. Is that a yes?
See, I'm not saying anything till I keep putting on the stand. Then I'm gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm not a victim, so I can't say anything. I don't know nobody. So the phone calls is from 2 incidents in the October, first week of November 2020. After that, it was just strictly a platonic situation.
Okay, so she pleaded the 5th, guys.
And it wasn't even them type of phone calls like the phone call we had over the phone when he was locked up. That was a jail call, a typical jail call.
Could I ask you another question? Did he rock your world that you just can't? It's just like you can't.
Let me tell you.
I mean, stop messing with
We're going to hell.
I ain't going with you.
Listen,
okay.
Let me tell you, I'm not going to be disrespectful to his situation, so we're not even going to talk about it, because she don't want to hear that. That's not nice.
But you did do it.
We had conversations before I found out he was married.
Okay, so your plea or your reasoning is you didn't know he was married.
No, I didn't know. When I found out, I actually blocked him and erased his number, and
What
then
made
we
you
ended up
unblock him? What made you unblock him?
because the thing what happened before all that, like I said, we used to have long conversations, like hours and hours of just conversation. He was just really like, you really don't vibe with people when you first meet him. And he was one of the people that you could just vibe with. And he was just so like, he would just sit there and just listen and absorb and remember. Like you'll hear it on the phone calls. I'd be like, damn, he was listening. He like, I listen. He listens. He sits and he
He's a
listens.
little bit vulgar. He's just like,
Huh?
he's a little bit vulgar, cussing people out and then praying in the
He
next.
doesn't cuss like I do. Oh my God.
Okay, so
But then you got to understand a lot of stuff is the pressures of, like, if he was out on the streets, he would have never been that person. He's in jail on some things. He feel like I shouldn't be here. I didn't do it.
okay.
You know, and the stuff that I did do, it is civil, or he feel like he didn't do anything wrong, but I don't know his side of the story. Again, he feel like everything is innocent on everything. And like I say, if the warrant is true on the one thing, then it's civilly, he's civilly wrong. But he was very, like I said, before he went away, and the one time that he spoke about the house situation, he was very like settled about it. He didn't go into too much detail. We don't get along anymore. I gave her some advice. She felt some type of way, and it kind of like festered, and it kind of like, I'm like, you can't be everybody's daddy. People don't like authority. And so he said, I just stay away. I just stay away. I don't even go home.
Okay.
When I know she's there, I stay away. And that's nice, because if you're trying to say he's this, then he would have been like, this is my MF house, and she got to go see her at her house. He wasn't like that. He was, I'm going to stay away. I'm going to go sleep over here in the truck, or I'm going to go sleep in, this place, or a teacher's house. You know what I'm saying? If she home.
So it was easy for him to sleep someplace else because he had other things on the other side. Then that's what you're saying. Then
I mean, from the warrant, yes, that's what it seems like. I mean,
from the warrant,
I had no idea. Again, I never asked him things like that because.
So, do you think, this is your opinion? Do you think at this point that they had some sort of arrangement going on? That, because I've heard in the calls
It don't sound like they're listening to the calls. It sounds like
arrangement.
It was a real relationship.
Okay.
It sounds like a real relationship. It sounds like, I mean, every relationship is a bit different and a bit like, because it's geared towards the people involved. People always think it's just one thing. She had male friends, he had female friends. They were okay with that. But
male friends he was sleeping
now
with.
That part I don't know about, again, because I never asked him about the dynamics of his marriage. I said, you know what, we're going to just be friends. And I left it alone because I wasn't looking to be with him, or are you going to leave her and be with me? I wasn't on that. Now, had I been on that, then I would have been like, yeah, he said this, he said that, he said that. He never said anything about the marriage, good or bad. I just felt he was happy because he wasn't complaining about it. And most people complain. He didn't complain. He never said anything other than, because when I would talk to him and say, why aren't you at home? And it's 12 o'clock at night. And I'm like, why aren't you in the house? And then that's when he eventually said, because when the daughter's around, because we don't get along. And he had it very vague. He didn't break it down. He just said, because we don't get along, I step away. That's her daughter.
Okay. Kay Bonita said, what happened to the money that the dad paid Nesto for the car that was given to the teacher?
I don't know.
Okay. Next
one. The dad gave her money for a car? I don't know about that. Only thing I know is that he gave him money to help her with her career. And that's all I know about that. He didn't give it to the daughter directly because he felt like the daughter was going to do something different with it. So he would meet with him and the daughter and say, and they would just have like a meeting and talk about, this is what this is for, and this, that, and the other.
Okay. Mel says, if Ernesto is the one is convicted of any or all charges, will your stance change?
My stance would only change if the evidence come out to say something different. If something comes out and it's some, then I'm gonna be looking like, what? I always was still let me say this. If I could, like, this is how this goes. His family, who knows him way better than me, the kids that I've spoken to, and then his friend, Dre, that ain't him. And even the guy he was locked up with for 3 years said, that's not him. He didn't do that. I know that man. We was locked up for 3 years and we was in the same room for 3 years. He didn't do that. And when you in jail, you showing it all. You know what I'm saying? People being there doing the most that they would never do on the streets or around their loved one. They're themselves. He said all that man did was talk about a barbershop, draw sketches, talk about his business plan, this, that, and the other. That's all he was focused on. That man didn't talk about, tricking women, kinky shit, freaky stuff. He wasn't in there fighting, bullying, messing with anybody. He said he just was to himself and was focused on business plans when he got out. That was it.
Okay. Do you think all this publicity will help or hurt his case?
So I think the bloggers heard it by saying bestiality, whatever that word is, and making a real negative impact on the story. I mean, they could have did the affair thing, something separate, fine. But at first, when it first came out, they were just going in, and like I say, you don't play with people's freedom, unless you know for a certainty that person did do it. When all you have is an accusation, you have to treat it like, unless he say he did it, or unless they got it on film that he did it, you got to say, let's see how it play out in court. And sometimes that don't even tell you the truth unless you see evidence to say this, that, and the other, because people get off and they're guilty and people go to jail innocent. So sometimes the court system is not even correct, because I side-eye everything. Jonathan Mayer, he should have never went to jail for any of that. That shouldn't have been charged. But he got charged for yanking away from a girl who was attacking him. And they figured out how to finesse that and charge him. And she didn't get charged for anything, but she's the one that, what I'm saying? And we saw that on film. And he attacked her, and it's like, she attacked him. So I'm like, that's crazy. And I was first one on their comment like, he innocent. He didn't do anything. This is before I even saw the footage, because I just know how that scenario goes when it comes to females, the phone, and somebody texting him, and she got in her feelings. I need to see your phone. And I was like, oh yeah, that's all her. That's all her, And it was all her. Mm-hmm. But people kept saying, well, that's what you get for dating a white woman. Like, that's mean. You know what I'm saying? You like who you like.
Yeah, that's true.
He never said I hate black women. I only date white women. He never said that. He just happened to at that time be with a white woman.
Okay. Solo Aquarius says, Sonya, are you going to apologize to Shirley for sleeping?
I already did on the last thing when somebody asked me.
Apologize, y'all. She apologized.
I did. I said I'm sorry for anything that I could have done, to make her feel a certain way. But again, I'm not a threat, and
She apologized, y'all.
Yeah, I did apologize. Did that other girl apologize for calling me a hoe? And
yeah, are you apologize to her for calling her out of her name, guys?
Right.
Miss Mac, thank you, Linda. All right, so
always call me out my name. And they be like, I'm silly, Sonya, stupid, I'm dumb. People are just so not nice, but it's all good.
So understand a lot of things with shock value. People just mean.
Like I said, you look at anybody's post, anybody's story, you look at all the posts, it's just all negativity. It's all negativity. This world is going real fast, and they don't understand how this is going to affect and trickle down to their children. Yeah. Because the children catch their energy, and then they go and do what they do.
Were you with Nesto on July 4th, 2022? Do you actually live across the street from Shirley?
No, I was in July 2022. I was living in Miami.
What about do you live across the street from Shirley?
No, I've never lived across this. Why would I live across the street from them?
You're silly with these questions. Okay, what do you mean by saying if Shirley doesn't have the money to pay for his attorney, someone in his circle does? So
listen to I know a phone call because the girl sent me the phone call. Go back to the beginning of the phone call when him is talking and he's saying, and I said, I'm not really in it. I'm just
have that phone call?
I'm just here to help, and and then he went on to say some other things, and I was just saying, well, I feel if, because I knew what just transpired before he went to jail and what all he had just did for her.
Do you have the phone call so you could play it so I can hear it?
It's on this phone. I think it's June 8th. It's June 8th. It's the June 8th phone call.
No, I don't have.
And so, right. And so right before that part, I'm like, and I told the girl, listen to the whole thing. Don't just listen to that one part. Listen to what I said before that part. And I said, in a hypothetical state, that this would be what she should do. Not saying, oh, she better do this, that, and the other, because I can't tell nobody to do, anything. It was good what she did do, even though it was a waste of money because the attorney sucks. And we're going to try to.
Weren't you the one who gave him that attorney?
Man, no, he got the attorney from somebody in jail. And then we called him together and was talking to him, and he sat there and sold a dream. Oh yeah, I could do this. I can get anybody out of jail. I could do this, I could do that, and didn't do squat. He dropped the ball. He actually walked the ball over to the prosecutor's team because he hasn't done anything but killed the case. Okay. Killed the case because he wants him to do some type of plea now. And the other attorney that I spoke to when I that did the YSL case,
I know which one you're talking about.
He said, that's a fool's advice. He said, what the heck? Why would someone say that? And I was like, exactly. So he's giving him advice to sink him. Let's say that.
Okay, how do you feel when you heard Dre is Team Shirley?
He's supposed to be. That's the wife. Everybody should be Team Shirley. That's the wife. He can't say anything bad about the relationship and the treatment of her during the marriage. Why wouldn't you be Team Shirley? He's never said one bad thing about her.
Who, Dre? I mean,
no, not so. He's never said anything bad about his wife. Said she's a wonderful person, inside and out.
Didn't he say something bad about her daughter?
No. About her? No. He just. Did he say something bad about his wife to somebody's daughter?
No. Didn't he say something bad to you about her daughter? He called her B-word.
He was mad, and I think when he said that was because wasn't that the time when she went down to the police department?
Oh, I don't know what time it is. All I know is she said some bad word. He said a bad word about her. That's all I know.
I remember, but I don't remember why, the circumstances around it. But again, that's something separate. She's a grown woman, and anybody's kid can be that if they act like that. Not saying it's nice. But apparently they can't, you know what? As many names people calling me, I ain't did nothing. So we ain't gonna go there because they done call me all kind of names. And all I want to do is just try to get this man free and get him back to his life. And I'm all kind of stripper hoes and silly, stupid people, and all because they want me to sit here and divulge every little detail of my life.
I myself going to apologize to them because they don't know you. They don't know who you are. And I do.
And that's why you don't call people names. You only call people names when you know them personally, have a personal issue. And that's not nice either, but you still, that would be a valid reason to call somebody something.
Well, I'm apologizing.
It's very tacky and ungodly to call people names. Hello. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a religious person, but I am a right person. I try to be nice to everybody, whether I know you or not. I feel like if I gotta be something ill towards you, I just don't deal with people to even bring that out in me. Well, it can come out of anybody.
Well, on behalf of them, I apologize.
Don't be on behalf. They grown. They're not kids.
Right. It's not fair that these.
That's fine. I mean, it didn't affect me. I felt it was very elementary for somebody, a grown woman, to call somebody they don't know and don't have any personal business or dealings with at all, anything other than their name. If I don't know you and you've done no harm to me, why would I call you anything other than your name?
And I know it hurts, even though you're trying to say it's so hurt.
Why would it hurt?
It does, because you feel it, because you didn't even want to say answer a question from her. But
I don't want to answer the question because why would I give her the courteous if you want to call me names? It wasn't about a hurt thing. You can't hurt me if I don't know you.
Okay.
There's no emotional tie, so you can't hurt me.
But you feeling something?
No, I don't feel anything. I'm okay. You know much people. You know how many comments call me names.
But you're reacting because
I just feel like you got some balls to sit there and call me a name and want to ask me something. That's what I feel. Like that's ballsies. You
Okay.
get me? Like if you and then to say, oh, was she mentioned? No, I've never mentioned you because I didn't even know until she said that she called me a stripper. And the way she said it, she was saying it so proudly because I called her a stripper, and I'm sitting here like, oh, really? But anything for a click. You
Greer
know what I'm
says,
saying?
ask Sonya if she understands that the criminal charges come from the state of Georgia and civil cases are initiated by individuals. Ernest
Yeah.
can get a civil case from the teacher too. Okay.
Yes, I know that because O.J. Simpson got sued civilly after that. You can do both, but sometimes one case is only one way and not both. Murder is a crime, so murder, but you can come back and sue somebody civilly for murder because of the loss.
Okay, have you apologized to Sheridan?
I don't know her. What I say about that girl?
I don't know what you said because I didn't.
I didn't say anything, but if I repeated something somebody said, why would I apologize? If I lied on her, I didn't lie on her because too many people said the same thing, so it can't be a lie. I've never lied on her. And what did I say? I must have said it over the phone because I other than that, and I can't remember, honey. We talking last year before last year.
They want to know whose pen is he using now? William, Julia, or who else?
I don't know.
She don't know. Okay, let's see.
Ask them why they so invested.
Because they like the calls. Everybody's.
Yeah, the calls are so boring. Like I listen to them and I'll be like, okay.
But you come on now. Human beings are nosy, especially if you listen to somebody.
I guess that your life is just I go to work and I go home and that's what all I do.
Yeah, but
like people be trying to make these little smart remarks because I go out and I feel like if I'm healthy and my kids are grown and fine and my grandchild is 17 years old, why would I sit in the house and just look at TV until it's time for me to die? I don't understand that. And then when I went out last night, it was at least 10 people my age and a little bit older. So I don't go to places where everybody, except for that one time I went to that record thing, but it was a record thing I had to go to. But I don't go places where people are in their 20s. I try to go where it's a mixed crowd and it's people my age as well. And people my age now do go out. But I've been getting a lot of that smart ass. I know people will just be trying to find something to say, well, let me say this about her, or let me try to come for this, and the one dude try to come and say MF something. He said my MF old ass something. I was sitting here like, hey, like that's a lot.
Ma'am, you cussing.
I'm sorry.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's a lot for it's just a lot of energy for people to give to somebody they do not know. They don't know me, they don't know him, they don't know her. So it's just a lot of personal negative energy I feel like is given. And I don't know if you would call it the same energy you give when you watch a movie and you talking to the TV, if that's the same scenario that this is or whatever, but it's just, or people just feel like they can invade in your space and you're supposed to tell me this because this is where we're at now. Go to IG and tell me your life.
Okay, Sarah says you asked Nesto to smack Shirley.
I did not say anything about what call is that on?
I need that call, y'all.
What call is that on? Because I'm not violent at all.
Wait a minute, we need evidence.
Right, because I'm not violent at all. And I've never thought anything other than, I will say this, I feel like when I first came on, I asked him, how's your support system? What is your family doing? Why are you still in jail? Because it was 30 days after he got arrested. And I saw the charges and I'm like, that's bondable. So I was like, what's going on? Are you getting the support you need? And he was like, right now, I'm okay. But I kind of need you on the legal side. And I said, well, you let me know what you need me to do as far as that's concerned. All right. And I just fell back. And then when he came and said some other stuff, and I was like, well, what's up with her? But I never said smack her or anything like that. I just said, he was like, well, it's just not in her. This is on the phone calls. It's not in her to be like that. She's just, this isn't her thing type of thing. And I'm like, just say nobody's thing, to be honest. But one thing I understand is when you date or marry or be with a black man, understand everything that comes with it. It's a lot that comes with being with a black man. And sometimes they get arrested. A lot of them get arrested and they're innocent, So you have to prepare yourself. And that was one thing I didn't have a problem with when I was dating white guys. I never even had that concern, ever. But whenever I dated a black guy, you have that fear. You know what I'm saying? He might get pulled over. He might get this, something might, you know what I'm saying? You just have that fear because we fall victim to certain things. So for me, and I'm black and I think like black people think, you know what I'm saying? It's our culture. We get caught up with police unnecessarily, unfairly, unjustly, more than any race. And so I just felt like, well, I said, she's got a child. And when you're a mother, you know how to be protective. You know how to fight for your kid. You put that same energy towards, if you're married, and you put that same energy towards your husband, because people that are very into the Bible, they always say, what comes first, your husband or your child?
They're supposed to be your husband.
They say your husband.
That's what the Bible.
Okay, and they're very pro-Bible. They're very religious. And so I was like, if it's supposed to be your husband before your child, which I don't agree, but I'm not religious. Yeah, I don't agree because I feel like my child is forever. Relationships don't last forever, but my child is forever mine. But people that's supposed to be religious is supposed to follow the Bible word for word, beginning to end, everything included. You're supposed to follow the word, right? Not certain chapters. So I felt like the one time I did get aggressive about it was she needs to be there for you. One, because I didn't really want to, I felt if they're not there, that I got to do it, And so I'm like, she needs to be there for you, in all capacities, because that's your wife. She's not built like that. And I'm just like, she need to be there. But I never said anything about slapping her. I would never say slap anybody.
That recording, so next time I will have it and I will play it.
Yeah, get that. And because I don't talk about slapping nobody. Unless not even if they say they want to slap me.
I need to have that proof. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, Sonya, why are you so invested? They say, especially since he's a married man.
I'm invested because that's my friend. Whether he's married, single, divorced, widowed, whatever, I'm not worried about that. When somebody's got their life looking at jail forever, I'm not worried about everything else. Is small to me. All of that. If she was there in a capacity that he needed her to be in, I wouldn't be here. And that's not a dig against her, because this is hard. And a lot of people don't know how to be there for a person or go through this with a person, or if they have a family unit that could help them. Because you see how many people in Fulton County is sitting in there with no help, no family, no this, but they have family, but nobody's helping them. They're like, whatever, we'll see him when he get out, if he get out. They don't care, And that could be a good person, not necessarily, it's a bad person, because all his family members like him. They call, why hasn't he called me? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they abandoned him because, they don't like him or he did this or da. They all feel like he's innocent. He didn't do it. This is unfair. This is unjust. But they're putting their lives ahead of what he's going through. And it's because, one, I'm not doing anything. I do have the time for it. But like I said before, when I almost died and I was in the hospital for a month and a week, and I didn't know if I was going to live or die, that man called me every day. And I'd only known him for 2 months. And that's a lot. That's a lot for a person to just really care. And you don't even know that person at all. I knew him a little bit, but 2 months. What do you know? And he took the time to call and what are the doctors saying? Do you need me to call down there? What do you need me to do? He was just solely on that for 30, however many days I was in the hospital. I was in ICU, 2 major surgeries, 4 blood transfusion. I came out 80 pounds, and it took almost a year and a half for me to recover. So I was sick. I wasn't lightweight sick. I was about to die sick. So my conscience won't let me leave him for dead. Let's say that. And I could take all of this. If this get him free, then it'll be worth it. People calling me whatever or thinking what they want to think about me. They don't know me, so it is what it is. I listen to the phone calls.
Okay. All right. Kay Bonita says, does she realize that so much more could have been done by focusing on the delay in Fulton County. Why didn't she take that approach?
What delay?
With with him being in there, no indictment, and he's been
That's
this.
why, listen, today, like I said, when I watched that thing today, everybody was in there with no indictment.
I saw it.
And they were 30 days, 200 days in, 190 days in, and nobody had, and they were, some of the cases were so little, it was time served, but they still was like, yeah, give him $3,000 bond. I'm like, he
I,
got time served. He's been in the jail a year.
I saw that. I
And
saw
I'm sitting here like, how come they can't say time served, or either just say, you know what, he's been there long enough, let him out on a signature because he's got time served, and we'll worry about the details of the situation after the fact. They still was asking for $30,000, $10,000 bond. So the justice system and the court system, I'm sorry, because there's no justice in the court system, don't care about people in real life. They don't treat them like people. They treat them just like a number. That's it. A number in a situation. That's all it is.
And I think a lot of it has to do with politics and economics.
They don't care because that whole system was designed after slavery was made illegal, and it was designed to put us back into slavery. It was just another way they finessed it. So it's always been, made for us to be destroyed. That's why when I look at Black prosecutors, I just be like, for real, like, wow. Like, the system don't care about the truth. They only care about is a win and a number at any means necessary, So that's crazy because I've seen several cases where people were innocent and it was known and they still was like, the judge was like, no, or, the prosecutor was like, no. And you knew the person was innocent. They knew it and they didn't care. Let them sit in jail, and what can happen to you in jail? Death, rape, some people aren't mentally strong for it. Suicide, they come out distraught. They don't care. They don't care.
No rehabilitation.
Because it's Black people. They don't care. So it's hard these days to find people that actually care and about you, period, with no motive behind it, And so I'm getting the crucified for, trying to help somebody, and they're focusing on the wrong thing instead of the justice system would hurt anybody at any time. Nobody's immune from it. You can get pulled over by the police and it'll ruin your life, or somebody and it'll ruin your life forever.
Ms. B. Connor says, do you think you talking about this case is helping him? She is giving the state all the case.
Okay. Yep. You know why? Because what's done in the dark, they can't really do you dirty if it's done in the dark. So the more light on his case, the better it is.
Okay. Mel said,
instead of waiting for a conviction and then, the news comes out, and once he's convicted, it's hard trying to get out of that situation.
Mel said, do you believe in the word of God? How can you use it against us? For many Christians, the Bible tells us how to live and what to do and not. We are human still. What or whom guides you to do what you do or not?
My conscience guides me. I have one. And a lot of people don't. So if I treat people the way I want to be treated, I feel like that's enough. I don't want to be treated bad, so I'm not going to treat anybody bad. No one can call and say no one can call and say Sonya's treating me bad, period. Never.
Okay. Anikia says, ask her, hasn't Shirley done enough and lost enough? Yeah. Hasn't she done enough? Did you think Shirley did enough?
Huh?
Don't you think that Shirley has done enough?
What does the Bible say?
Or lost enough? That you're supposed to stick together to thick and whatever to death.
You ride it to the end. So what, she's supposed to just do the first 5 minutes and then, all right, dude, let me know what happens.
But it's a lot. It's a lot on
it. Is a lot. It's a lot. Trust me. And it was nonstop the first 6 months. It was nonstop. They kept coming with all these different things, and they kept dragging the new case that they should have had. Everything should have came out, a year prior, but they was just stagnating. And the girl said, you didn't see it right, but dragging the case and charging and charging and charging. And they did that by design on purpose, to screw him even more, or try to buy time because nothing had evidence. we go to court and they don't have any evidence on anything. It's just a conversation. And the lady deliberately, the detective did no type of follow-up to even say, I know this to be true because I did this, that, and the other. She literally did no follow-up. She just took an interview and charged him. That's it. On everything.
Eric Compton Ebony says, are you nervous about the upcoming release of video calls?
No.
She's not.
It's all recorded and the prosecutor is on every call that we're on. So anything that the prosecutor can be on, it can be played in court. So no, I'm not. I ain't got no worries. We weren't doing phone sex on that one either. So you know what I'm saying? It was more a YouTube conversation though. But no, I'm not worried. Why would I be worried? Only thing we worried about is his freedom. All that other stuff, nobody's worried or stressed about it. The bulk of the situation was those first 2 phone calls talking about patent and something, whatever that stuff was. It don't get no juicier than that. That's it. Everything else is downhill. Way downhill. That's it.
Okay.
So no, I'm not worried. I mean, if you invested and you care that much about my business, then have at it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Shay B says, why haven't you contacted Pam Esquire, the intellect?
Why would I?
Because she's an attorney.
Okay. I already contacted the attorney that I really want. So.
She answers your question, Shay B.
Yeah.
Thank you, Black Swan.
No shade against her, but I don't know her. And this is something that the one person, sometimes female attorneys are better at some things than men, but because I gave this attorney all the insight from a female's perspective, and he kind of like saw another angle of it, that's all that you need to help, the situation. His court-appointed attorneys, like I said, she's too new for the situation. And I was watching the hearings today, and one of the persons had kidney issues because he has kidney issues now because of the bad medication they was giving him, and the side effects caused both of his kidneys to be severely damaged. And when I reached out to his attorney and told her, you need to go see him and get his medical records because he has a severe illness, that just developed since he's been locked up. And you were in court, and what did she say? He's sick. Because she never came, she never visited, she never got the medical records. And it's his kidney.
Like the attorney. And
the nurse said, it's no wonder you're still walking around. That's what the nurse told him. So how sick are you? And the attorney, and I told her he's severely sick. I told her a lot of things on email, and she apparently didn't read them because when I saw her in court, she was very ill prepared, and they got mad about that. And they got mad at me, and I'm not lying. He was very ill prepared. This is a man's life. So, if you're mad about it, I'm not lying. Be mad if I lie on you. But if I'm telling you the truth, then, give it to somebody who has experience that could beat the case because he's not taking a plea. You're not pleading this out. You're going to be doing the work.
So she says, Sonya, read Nesto's crime on call she posted in November and learned that the day she got out of the hospital, Nesto was charged with aggravated sodomy.